Good morning, everybody. You're tuned into Cragcore. Thank you for tuning in today. So, today we're going to be talking about the ramifications of baying for blood and wanting your pound of flesh. Because, in my opinion, this is the wrong attitude to have. And I'm going to tell you why. Because, you know, of course, this is just my opinion, as it usually is. And it's probably wrong. But, no, jokes aside, when you start shouting for your pound of flesh, like what's going on at the minute with Mr. Boris in the UK, you've got to ask yourself, why are you fucking shouting for your pound of flesh? Why are you in the streets with pitchforks, you know, for want of a better analogy, you know, screaming for Boris's fucking resignation? You know, you want your pound of flesh, you want to feel as though you've been justified, you know, you want to feel as though you've been heard. Yeah, you know, Mr. Boris has been having a few parties and yeah, let's punish him for it. You know, that's what people want, isn't it? And fair enough, you know, vengeance and all of that. I mean, doesn't I hate to quote the Bible here, but isn't it, you know, the Bible that warns against being vengeful? Well, I suppose because it can be used against you in this instance. And in my opinion, it is being. Who is it, first and foremost, who is promoting the need or promoting that which makes you feel as though you need your pound of flesh? Well, it's the media, isn't it? The fucking media. Now, if you don't believe, say you think, for instance, throughout all of this shit over the past 2 years, you know, the fucking COVID era, as they're calling it. Fucking hell, it's got a name. Hashtag no doubt. But all the shit over the past 2 years, if you've been skeptical and you've been questioning things, which has led you to the point now where you feel as though, actually, yeah, you know, all of this stuff's been unjustified. You know, it's not been justified. Everybody, you know, has been doing shit that's basically fucking robbed them of their lives on the basis of a lie. And that's what's now, you know, the narrative has turned into that. Because people are starting to realise that if these people were putting themselves at risk, and there quite clearly wasn't anything to be worried about, there was actually no risk at all, was there? And they were telling you to do things based on this risk and then squandering it themselves. So therefore people are starting to realise that. But how do they shut people up? Well, they've got to fucking, you know, take the heat and try and fucking put it to bed as quick as they can. So they promote the hell out of it, get a scapegoat. Now they can encapsulate it in one little thing, which is Boris Johnson. He's going to have to be the fall guy. You know, he is now the fall guy. He is going to have to take all of the heat, and it all goes away with his resignation. You see, that's the fucking thing. But you see, you wouldn't have shouted for your resignation, for your pound of flesh. You wouldn't have been screaming out for this bloke's resignation if not for the fact it had been publicised by the media that that's what he deserves. Personally, I think everybody, not just Boris Johnson, yes, Boris Johnson included, but the whole fucking political system needs fucking dragging through court, and they need severely looking at. There is massive financial incentive for these people to actually be in power and to generate fucking crises, to create crises so they can fucking profit from them. You know, these people have got their finger on the pulse of the stock market. They invest in all kinds of companies, and then all of a sudden the stocks in those companies go up. The requirement for those companies to produce whatever it is they produce goes up, and before you know it, these people have made an awful lot of money. It's a fucking smash and grab, isn't it? It's a fucking bank job. It's the final job before they go and live on a beach somewhere, because they're career criminals. You know, this is that one last job. And we keep letting it happen. But you see, the media, which are ultimately just a tool of this fucking oligarchy, those that control all of the governments, you know, in lockstep, they tell you that they fucking want that Boris ought to resign, and that's what he deserves, and that's what you ask for, and then ultimately that's what you get, and then it goes away. But if you didn't believe the media throughout this last couple of years, then why the fuck are you fucking going along with them now? Why is it that you're going along with them now when it fucking makes no sense? It's a bit like this whole Prince fucking Andrew malarkey. People are quite happy to believe the media when it suits. They'll call the media out, and quite rightly call them out for being fucking liars and, you know, propaganda agents when it suits. But you see, then when it suits, they will fucking believe them, because it basically plays into their own projections, it plays into their own bias. Now ultimately at this point you've got to fucking say, well, if they're fucking lying about COVID, if they're lying about all of this, if they're lying about, perhaps not about COVID, but if they're lying about the stuff that's put you into lockdown, if they're lying about all these things that have basically rendered you incapable of having freedom, if they've lied about the numbers, which they have done knowingly as well, if they've knowingly hidden other pieces of information that gives you the ability to choose properly things for yourself with regards to vaccines and stuff, they intentionally hide data and don't report on it, so you don't have an educated choice. Basically what you're doing is just choosing based on the information you've been told and what you've been allowed to be exposed to, when actually there's fucking tons of other information out there that might actually cause you to choose something else, but it's intentionally hidden so you can't choose that way. Because ultimately, why would you? Because if all the information out there is positive and they're telling you that it's positive and that it's okay, well then that's the way you're going to choose, isn't it? Unless you're exposed to an equal amount of information from both sides. And this is what they do. So then why is it, if you know all of this and you are wholeheartedly happy and comfortable with knowing that they fucking lied to you for 2 years, and these lies justified the government fucking robbing you of your livelihoods, stopped you from seeing your loved ones while they were in hospital. In fact, a lot of people died and were unable to have their last moments with their families because of this shit. And you know that that's been going on. The amount of people that you speak to, I speak to a lot of people on a daily basis, the amount of people from different walks of life. I spoke to a nurse yesterday. She said that the media were lying when they said that the hospitals were overrun. No, they were her words. She said, because I said, how did you get on during the lockdowns? Because, you know, you were working and stuff, weren't you? She said, yes. She said it was absolutely dead. It was brilliant. She says it was really good because there was nobody at the hospitals. She said the media basically lied and said that it was really busy, but it wasn't. She said that. Now, these people have lied and lied and lied again. And the more people you speak to, the more you realise that that is the truth. It's not just a fucking conspiracy theory. It's the truth. The media and the government have lied in lockstep so they can fucking take away your freedoms, so they can make money and profit through all of this. Because if they can take away your freedom, they can profit more. It's the way it works, man. They benefit from you being a slave. You know, only the slave master benefits from the slaves. The fucking slaves don't, do they? Oh, Fucking hell. You will own nothing and be happy about it. If that's not fucking slavery, then I don't know what is. And they're getting the people to beg for it. So if you're happy in the knowledge and you know that this is the case, then why? Why on God's earth do people fall in line? Because it fits their fucking bias. You know, with regards to things like Prince Andrew being a paedophile. Now, I'm not fucking saying one way or the other, you know, whether he's a fucking paedophile. I don't fucking know. I wasn't there. I mean, 100 people could tell you a fucking story. But unless you were there and you saw it with your own eyes, do you really know? It would be my opinion that, do you not also think that it could be a fucking power play, that there is a strategic advantage for the besmirchment of the royal family and their reputation? Do you not think then, given the history of these people, they only promote things in the media that is beneficial to them and pushing forward their agenda, which is global fucking tyranny, global domination, complete and utter domination. And in order to get out of the fucking karmic ties that would fucking put on them, they have to get you to ask for it. They have to get you to fucking willingly say, this is what we want. Which means they've got to offer up, they've got to create the problem so they can offer up a solution. And you got to think, if you've got an end game and you know that that's going to be your solution, well, you can have a tailor-made problem to basically fucking justify people wanting. You can basically lead people into a trap, especially if you work it out over a long period of time and you take very small steps to get you there. Then you can do this. And the more you fucking open your eyes and you look at what's been going on in the world, right now, these people have shown their faces, and it's our chance now to do something about it, to stand up and say, fuck off. You know, you're not having it. Now, I dare say that at this point, they've probably factored that into the equation. And they've got a plan B and a plan C and a fucking all the rest of the alphabet. But let's just say you're fucked if you do and you're fucked if you don't. You know, they've probably got martial law to be brought in if people stand up too tall. But would you not rather go down knowing that you fucking stood up at all, man? Would you rather not? Fuck it. If you're going to get put up against the wall, you know, and face the firing squad, do you want to fucking be put up against the wall on your feet or on your knees? I know what I'd prefer. Okay? Because let's face it, who are you? And that's what you've got to ask yourself. You've got to understand that there is a fucking small group of people. I say small, in comparison to the population of the planet, it's a small group of people. Now, who they are, it's elusive, isn't it? And it's intended to be that way. But you've got to start looking at the system, and it's designed. It's a fucking game. It's a design. People sit behind a desk and they design everything. Tax rates, you know, basic minimum wage, all of these things, everything moves in steps, doesn't it? Just to keep you above the threshold, to the point where you're able to survive, but have very little freedom. To keep you locked into the system, basically. It's all a design. This is why you find a lot of people are able to make it, and a lot of people aren't. Because they've been in different sections of the fucking system. They've played the game from a different fucking starting point. You know, even if you make a lot of money somehow, if you are at the starting point of, say, peasantry, you know, fucking commoner, you can earn billions, and you're never going to make it into certain fucking aspects of society because they're close-knit. They are closed off to people from certain fucking walks of life that have started off at certain fucking points. It's just the way it is. Doesn't matter how much fucking money you earn. If you're a commoner, you're still a fucking commoner. It's the way these fucking aristocrats work and all of this. But I mean, whatever. It's all a system and it's designed, is basically what I'm saying. It's designed to elevate a few and to keep most everybody down. Now, when you look at this like this, when you look at the world and the system like this, and you realise everything is just a fucking stage, the world is a stage, everything's a pre-scripted play, you then start looking at the possible strategies behind the defamation of character when it comes to people like the royal families. Because again, remember, everything's about public opinion. The people have to want it in order for them to be allowed to do it. It's the fucking cosmic law, man. So you got to say, well, if you are a group of businessmen and you are in a certain position now where you're able to play out the final part of your plan, where the global domination starts to become visible, you know, the end game is in sight, you would say then you would have to reach a certain, you'd have to elevate yourself to a certain degree in order to be even in a position to start maneuvering yourself into those final stages. Now, one of those final stages, I dare say, would be eradicating people like the royal families. Because if you think about the royal I say the royal families, the royal family, not plural, because it is through marriage and fucking, you know, what have you, basically just one big family, isn't it? So you would then admit, you'd have to accept then that taking these out would be part of the final fucking steps, because they own an awful lot of land, they have an awful lot of influence, public opinion as well. They have an awful lot of wealth, massive amounts of wealth. Now, ultimately, in this capitalist system, wealth gives you freedom, and it gives you power and influence. Now, you can't just fucking ride in nowadays like the fucking Romanovs and eradicate a fucking royal family, because I mean, that happened there. They had to get the people on board first, you know. The people had to fucking say, well, yeah, fuck them. So then when they go in and they fucking slaughter them, it's okay. Well, they can't really get away with that nowadays. They've got to fucking do it in other ways. So they're doing it through the fucking media. And they're getting you to believe that these people need to be moved out of the way. And if they can blacken the name of these individuals to the point where you are crying out for them to be removed, well, that gives them the opportunity then to swoop in like the saviors that they pretend to be and swallow up not only the power and influence, but the wealth that comes along with it, the land that comes with it. They can just soak it all up and centralize it, because remember, this is all about centralization. At every step further up you go, there is more centralization. That's the point. So in order to centralize and centralize and centralize, you have to take out, it's a bit, I mean, you've got to fucking look at it in the ways of business, because that's who these people are. They're businessmen. They are ruthless businessmen. And what do businesses do? Look at it, for instance, right? You've got a community and you've got all these family businesses in a local area, and all of a sudden a supermarket's built down the road. All of that passing trade, all of that fucking business that has been going to those small businesses, those small family-run businesses, they now go to the supermarket, not only because it's cheaper, but it's more convenient. They can get everything in one place. They've got a fucking shitty club card that gives them a fucking penny on the pound. They think they're getting something. Now what happens? All the other businesses, the family businesses fucking go out of business. They fucking get swallowed up. So the wealth that would have been generated there is swallowed up by this huge company. So in order to take over, you have to fucking make the public come to you and say that you are the person they want to fucking be with at this point. You know, they want to follow you into the sunset. They want to use you as your, you know, in your influence. Which basically fucking allows you just to swallow up everything else. And this is what's fucking happening. They've got to get rid of the royal families because they have to fucking swallow up the wealth. It's business. You know, it's a fucking business game. They're going to move in, get you to hate them, and then swallow up the business. Just like they do in these small areas. It's fucking obvious when you look at it. It's absolutely obvious when you look at it. And I fucking tell you now, you've got to look at it. Because if you don't, then what the fuck, man? You're willfully blind at this point. And then it's your fault that these things happen. It's on you. Because if you're willfully blind and you don't try and fucking do anything to stop it, then what the fuck, man? You know? You're complicit, aren't you? You're complicit in the fucking overthrow of society by these oligarchs. You know, you're partly to blame for the fucking New World Order being brought in. So what I'm saying is, keep your eyes and ears open and remember that if the fucking media are lying and they've got an agenda behind everything they report on, well then quite obviously, you can't pick and choose. It's all going to be agenda driven. You know, they're always going to be fucking lying. And it's absolutely not beneficial to you. They want you to bay for blood. They want you to fucking shout out for the pound of flesh that they're offering you in the first place. Because they've created the problem. Boris has done his job. He's run the fucking country into a point where these people are able to offer you the solution. It's order from chaos. They fucking put Boris, this buffoon, in power because they know that under the fucking buffoon, buffoonery can happen. And then they're going to put someone in power who's, you know, going to bring about order because that's what people want now because they're tired of the fucking chaos. It's a fucking game. It's a tactic. Fucking wake up to it. So when you're baying for blood, you want your pound of flesh, you're saying, yeah, fuck Boris, get him out. You're doing what they want. You're playing into their fucking hands here. They're going, stupid commoners. They haven't got a fucking clue. By the way, now it's your turn. This is what you do, sir. Now you're in the spotlight. This is what we want you to do. Because you're the next step. You're the next phase of the plan. It's simple. Trust me. Stop. Trust me. I mean, don't trust me if you don't want to. I don't fucking care. Again, this is just my opinion. But just look at it. Please look at the situation and see it for what it is, man. Okay? It's a game, the world's a stage, and it's all just a pre-scripted fucking plan. That's what's going on. If you start to see it like that, it all becomes very obvious. And at that point, it is your responsibility to just do the smallest thing, which is just to fucking say to yourself on a daily basis, I don't comply. I do not comply. I stand in my own sovereignty and I do not comply. That's enough, because simply by saying that, you are taking away their ability to rid themselves of the karma that comes from you going into it willingly. You know, ultimately, they get away with it if you go into it willingly. And you are taking that fucking opportunity away from them by going into it willingly. Taking the opportunity for them to have the karma that is required for them. Because they are fucking... Look at what they're doing to people. They deserve their karma. They shouldn't be allowed to fucking go through the fucking loopholes of the fucking galactic law anymore. Okay? They're playing the fucking system. So take that power away from them and simply say, I do not comply. I can see what's going on and I don't comply anymore. It's as simple as that. That's the smallest fucking thing. And does it take any effort? Really? Does it? It takes 10 seconds. Do it. And do it on a daily basis, man. And just let the fucking universe know that you're no longer fucking blind and you're no longer going to be going along with it willingly. Okay? And if you have to go along with it, it's because you're being forced by these people and you can see that they are forcing you. Therefore, they will get their karma for it. And the more people that are able to do that, the better. Because then the universe will sort it out through the wheel of karma. Isn't it beautiful? Right then. On that note, I'm going to wish love and peace to all things everywhere. And peace on earth. Peace on earth, man. It's Crackcore signing off. Thank you for being with me today. Thank you for watching this video. Please find it in your heart to comment below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Do all of that cool and nice YouTube stuff if you want to. And if you like the content, feel free to comment if you want to see certain subjects discussed, fucking ranted about, you know, in my humble opinion. You know, and we'll fucking get it on. So this is Crackcore. Thank you for being here with me once again. Peace.